What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, bringing you another gold nugget that you can either pick up or you can just kick it aside. Or should I say, go black to Africa? I tell y'all, I've been trying to adjust to a many of things. And man, this situation right here, I want to share because this is big news for many people who have been, like myself, finally decide, oh, you know what? I've invested $250,000 in Ghana, buying property, investing in businesses, and let me go ahead and put my name in a hat for citizenship. And what do? They change this whole thing into a debacle. It just turns a mess, you all. And we're gonna get into this because many of our brothers and sisters there in Ghana are in uproar, and they're sending a message to the government loud and clear. And I'm going to show you a video of how they came together. Shout out to the Jamaicans out there. Shout out to the rest of the diaspora that is out there, African Americans, and those who are all living abroad, who is trying to find another place outside what they would have typically called home. Damn Erica. Put the D in front of America, capitalize the E. Damn Erica. And other countries that people, man, are fleeing. They're leaving, man. They're trying to find liberty and peace, another way of life. And, Ghana is the so-called entry into Africa. It's one of the few countries that you can go and get a straight, nonstop flight into Ghana. Besides, I think Senegal is another, as well as South Africa, if I remember. But I'm going to get back on my flights back here. I got 20 more flights, y'all. 20 more trips or countries I got to visit. And I really want to show y'all a different way than I've traveled before. Me and my wife was talking, and we, and I told her, I said, you know what? Let's do it big. Let's do something different. And what I mean by big, I backpacked throughout Africa, 34 countries. And, I kind of roughed it, on my own. And, really try to get as close down to the average person, interviewing people, interviewing brothers and sisters leaving damn Erica, UK, Europe, Central or the Caribbeans and all that. I've done a plethora of interviews, and I got over 1,100 videos. Some of them I kind of took down, but over 1,100 videos. 5 years, y'all, I have been doing this and really trying to navigate in which the best way for me to finish out these countries that I'm going to go ahead and visit, these 20 countries. Some we can't even get into because of President Trump. Some other African countries like Chad, Mali, Burkina Faso, they don't want American passports, American citizens in their countries. And so we'll see what the future may bring. But me and my wife, we were talking, and I said, you know what? Let's find out the finest things in Africa. Let's show the people, does the country have to offer the finer things? We want to check out the finer restaurants, because Africa's growing. Africa is growing to a place to where it's going leaps and bounds. And I've showed that, many countries got the skyscrapers, they got the Lamborghinis, they got a lot of the things that we have in damn America. That's right. Put the D in front of America, capitalize the E, damn America. But we're going to go, and she's going to travel with me to some of these countries, and we're going to live it out. We want to stay in some of the nicer places and give y'all an experience that, even for those who may live at a higher standard, want to, know can their so-called needs be met? And we're going to be on a venture for that. So whether it's hotels, whether it's food, dining, whether it is maybe some private resorts or what have you, we want to bring that and give it to you all so that you all will break the narrative or, remove our mindset from what they have shared that Africa, it's some impoverished place, but we're going to get into that. Also, I'm starting a channel that's near and dear to my heart. I had a second channel, but this one's going to be called Dear Papa Roo. Please go to that channel, subscribe. I see that many of our young adults, even mid-age people, have a lot of questions, a lot of unanswered things in their life that they may be looking for a man's perspective, but yet a man who's, I don't want to like sound like, I'm just all about myself, but I've experienced a lot in my life. I'll be 60 this year. I've experienced a hell of a lot, been through businesses, poverty, loss of death, bad health, situation with my own kids, divorce, when I was a young man, child out of wedlock, abortions, all of these things I've been through that our young people are suffering by and don't want to or have a hard time expressing themselves, or don't have anybody that mentored them or even have a words of wisdom. I believe I'm just part of a many of people out here, elders, who can give back. And that's what I want to do. Go to the channel, Dear Papa Ru, R-U, Dear P-A-P-A-R-U. And I'm going to let people call in, ask questions. Please, y'all who are right now watching, I want y'all to be the first ones. Just a question that you have. It's about life, about anything that you feel as though that you're ready to move forward to the next chapter of your life. Maybe you've gone through some things. Maybe you have some issues. It could be family issues, finance issues, business, whatever it might be. It might be you're embarking on new things of life and want to know, hey, I need another perspective. Somebody who is sound, somebody who has a life experience in this stuff, just to get a feel of how you can take this information and possibly add it to yours and even make it a better decision. And so, I appreciate each and every one of you all that are here. Please subscribe to Dear Papa Ru. That's right, Dear Papa Ru. And I'm going to be doing those things. Share it with your friends, your families, somebody who's lost or whatever, and just have unanswered questions that need to be answered. Let's do it. All right. So, but Ghana ruined citizenship for African Americans by a plethora of changes that they've done. Y'all gotta let me know, can y'all hear me? Because I done switch it to my other camera. I'm getting a little fancy, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I done got my office, man, changed up, new, and got my sound system and my videos all going, and just trying to do something a little different. And I'm a retired guy, so I'm out here, man, and I'm just doing what I do, and it's amazing. Of all the business ventures I've been on, would have never believed I was here on YouTube. 300 and almost 44,000, I think it is, subscribers. And I've laid off for a whole year and a half, 344,000. I should be at 500,000 already, but that's okay. I'm not looking for the numbers. What I'm looking for is just to be a powerful impact in people's lives, but also with this channel, Go Black to Africa, still pushing that Africa is the now. It's not the future. It's the now. I've got invested 3 properties in Africa and business in Africa. So I'm just trying to show our brothers and sisters out here, anybody for that sake, that Africa is the now, ready to embrace you coming in, leaving your country, maybe where you are, that you feel you're not getting the love, you're not getting respect, you don't even get the opportunity to even advance, because the saying is true for damn America. The ceiling, the sky's the limit is what they say. And I've said for years, no, it's not. It's limitless. But we are stricken here in this country because of a lack of resources, a lack of maybe the knowledge and education or opportunities, curses in families, all going back to beginning of the first feet that hit this soil off the ships, or even those that were here on the land being enslaved as well. We're captives. And how do we then as a people change the dynamics of our life? How do we as a people shift? Even if you want to stay in damn America, I've overcome the obstacles in business and all, but you're looking at a man who was dirt poor. Let me say this right here to you all. Be careful who you take advice from, especially those who might be of other nations, because of the fact that The starting ground is not the same. And what I mean by that, many of us believe that you can listen to other people who talk about how to be successful, motivational speakers, and all these things here. And some people have had it handed to them a beginning start. Many of us had to start from scratch. Many of us had to start with nothing. And yet you have many of our people trying to subscribe to other people who have different beginnings, different backgrounds, different opportunities, and wonder why your turnout, your result is different. Why you can't make it. Why you can't overcome. Why is that? Well, because the fact is that sometimes when you're eating off somebody's table who has a different experience, different background, and they don't tell you that, oh yeah, well, like Trump said, my daddy gave me a measly $1 million, start his life out. You see a lot of people out here on these YouTube channels and they want to make it seem like they came from nothing, but their family was affluent, their family was wealthy, or had some money, or they gave them a good start. And many of us didn't have that. And I got some golden nuggets to share with people, how to get yourself to the next level in marriage, in whether it's with your business and finances and all that stuff, man, all that stuff, because we have like stories. So with that, I just want to give a shout out to each and every one of you all, because I tell you, without you, there is no me. Without me, there is no we. We all are in this together. And I think that we all have something that we can bring to the table to benefit off of each other. So Ghana ruins the citizenship for African Americans, for the diaspora, whether it's Jamaicans and those in the Caribbean, those in the UK. Many people, tens of thousands of people, try to get citizenships in other countries. Ghana happened to be one of the few countries who were giving them out because of their so-called give back based upon the slavery history of selling us, our ancestors, to the Europeans. So Ghana now has changed up some stuff. I want y'all to listen to this right here, and y'all tell me, does this sound crazy? Because when I read this, I was like, man, this is, Ghana got to do better. Ghana got to do better because, it's why is it all about money, making things hard? Well, that's one curse we have as a people in and even here in America, is that we want money up front quick. I've watched many of businesses fall by the wayside because of the fact that our people they want to put the expensive prices up front and then have lack of people coming because of the cost of coming to support your business. And we got to change that. We got to change the fact that, like, okay, I'm going to try to get as much money as I can right now. Hey, people are getting citizenships, so we're going to go ahead and up the price and all that right there. But listen to this right here. Dear Ghanaian citizenship applicants, on behalf of Ministry of Interior, the Diaspora Affairs Office of the President is pleased to announce that the requirement for obtaining Ghanaian citizenship by historic diasporans have now been finalized. Hey! Oh, hold up. I got me a little clapping thing. Hey, where's my hand? Where's my hand clap at? Got my hand clap somewhere. Did y'all hear that? All righty, let's hit it again. Here's an outline of the necessary document and steps for the application process. Hold up, somebody just sent me a message. Hold on a second. This is what I initially received right here. Required documents and fees. Applicants must be over 18 of age. You must have a completed application. Oh, okay. Mama T, shout out to you. Mama T just sent me something. Mama T over in Ghana right now. She is sending me a message. Hold up. We might have to change up some stuff. Peace and blessings to my Mama T out there in Ghana. A beautiful elder out there who's definitely well connected and doing great things. Hold up. So she just sent me something here. maybe this is what I'm about to talk about anyway. This is what it says right here. This is dated 1 day ago. This is an article by BBC. Ghana suspends citizenship process for people of African descent. Ghana has paused citizenship applications for members of the African diaspora in order to make the system more accessible and user-friendly. Thank goodness. You know, it's beautiful when you get something like this. We're going to see what's this about, right? Since 2016, those who can prove their ancestry came from Africa have been able to get Ghanaian nationality. We can prove it really easy, but we're going to talk about the daggone what they had at first. It was primarily aimed at the descendants of those who were victims of the transatlantic slave trade. More than 1,000 people, including African-American singer-songwriter Stevie Wonder, have obtained Ghanaian citizenships in recent years. Let me say this to the president and you government officials of Ghana and the rest of African countries. It is not right nor fair. My mom used to tell me, life ain't fair. That you give easy red carpet to these entertainers who have done nothing. I ain't gonna talk about Stevie Wonder. I know he resides over there, but I think iSpeed, what's his name, came in. I think I saw something that he was even given some citizenship or something like that. But y'all gotta stop throwing mud in our faces by giving these entertainers citizenships when we have people on the ground who have invested their hard-earned little dollars to leave a country that has mistreated and abused them and tried to go get them places to buy or rent, tried to get them business to start, and yet been there for years and have struggled and tried to maintain by having to leave out of the country because their visas expires and coming back in or getting extensions, trying to get residencies and all that right there. We are gracious and thankful for the work that y'all have done and have opened up the doors for the opportunities for us to at least have a chance to get a citizenship or residency. We're very thankful for that. But you got to understand where we're coming from. This we know is very difficult for you to run your country, and that there are laws that are in place to establish these policies or rules and regulations that you have set in place. But please be forgiving. If Donald Trump and these other European countries can change and override laws that they got, like bringing in South Afrikaners, the white ones, and say, come on in. If the black Africans are mistreating you all, look, forget the red tape, forget the policies, procedures. Here you go. Come on in here. If America can let other immigrants come on in and give them treatment, give them, money for education, money for childcare, money for all. We were shocked when we heard all that they were giving for daggone the Somalians, right? Not hating on the Somalians, but God doggone. You mean the taxpayer money was paying for their childcare, paying for, schooling and paying for all these other things? Come on. When we been here for the longest and we don't get opportunities to get people out of the poverty situations, more business opportunity situations, home ownerships. So African leaders, I say to you all, you have to understand, we're not coming with a handout. We're not coming to depress your economies. No, our people are coming with their resources and their finances, and they're bringing and creating jobs for your own people. This is the deal. So let me continue. All right, let me continue. However, some applicants have complained about the number of stages involved as well as the high costs. Dr. Erica Bennett, ambassador for the Diaspora African Forum, which helps people relocate to Ghana, told the BBC that many applicants struggle with the requirement to submit DNA evidence within a week of the application, saying the time frame was impossible for most of that. Some also question the reliability of the DNA test. That's right. Let me go here back to where I was beginning. I'm gonna get back over to the message that was sent to me kindly by Mama T. But they made it almost like it was almost impossible for some people. I've waited for I put my name in the hat back in October time frame when I was there in Ghana, waiting and waiting. And they said, not going to happen in December. Oh, it's not going to happen in January. Oh, it's going to happen probably in March. And then we get a message, which shame to the Diaspora Affairs Office, because you didn't do what you said you was going to do, is send an email to those who had put their name on the list. You didn't do it. But shout out to the other people that I did connect with, and they were looking out for me, that I did get that information. But here's the list of what they were asking, which changed from previous last year and the years before. They wanted you to require, of course, to complete an application. Now, this message came out last Thursday. I got the message Thursday last week. Listen to this. They wanted you to fill out an application, provide your birth certificate, biodata, page of a valid passport. So your first page of your passport, they wanted that right there. Proof of legal residency, 2 years resident permit. Okay, I ain't got no problem with that. I've been having resident permit for the last 5 years. So policy clearance, criminal record certificate from both your home country and Ghana. I got my police report already. I had that in hand and all that right there. Evidence of strong ties to Ghana. Okay, I've been going there to Ghana for the last 8 years and all that. So yeah, and I own property there in Ghana. All right, but then you get to, but the ambiguities was, what is strong ties? Nobody knew what that meant. Proof of DNA to support Ghanaian descendant. DNA? Hold up, where'd that come from? DNA? Isn't this DNA? Do we have to say anything? Do you want to see my birth certificate? You know, seeing that I am a citizen of America, and we know how we got there. So that's without question. But they wanted you to provide proof of citizenship. Then they have citizenship application fee, 25,000 Ghana cedis. That's $2,260 odd. From the last I heard, it was like $300-400 last year. So they wanted to up it up to $2,300. I know a lot of my brothers and sisters ain't got that money to can just come off and just do the citizenship. Then they say this right here. Now, the process overview, submission of the listed criteria of documents, plus you have to pay 1,500 Ghana cedis, which is about $150, for administrative fee by interested applicants to designate administrative center at the World Trade Center, Accra, for review by 2 through 6 February. So they want you to go ahead to this World Trade Center there in Accra, provide the application fee, and by this week, and we just got the message last week. Now hold up. And that fee, if you don't meet the criteria, you lose that money. And so how are you going to get a DNA test? How are you going to be able to get all your documents and everything together? And yet there are people who have had to leave the Ghana, had to go to the back of their countries. Now at this last second, they're going to do this such a thing. Makes no sense. So this was what was put out, and it got a lot of people in an uproar. People was upset because of this case. But I just got a message here that I was reading that there has been a pause on this. Let me read also here what else was sent here. So we read that BBC article, and so then we got another thing that has here. Let me see if I can go ahead, upload this to my computer. Okay, let me bring this up. Okay, I need that one right there. This enlarged. Shooby-dooby-doo-doo. I done hit the wrong button. All right, let's see here. There we go. Now, so let's see if I can share this with you all. Okay. Let's see if we got this right here. All right, you guys got to let me know. Can y'all still hear me in looking at this right here? Can y'all still hear me? Please let me know. Can y'all still hear me? While looking, I switched over. Did you hear me? Okay, yes, y'all couldn't hear me when I switched over. Yes, can hear. Okay. Okay, so when I flipped over, okay, cool. So back over to this. I am, make sure that I am still sharing my screen. Cool. All right. So this right here just sent to me. New Ghana citizenship policies, urgent takeaway from the emergency meeting of Black African historian diaspora leaders in Ghana. Okay. This is a letter that was sent by some of our representatives there in Ghana, and they're asking some of these questions. So let me get back off of this because I thought that would be something from their official. But let me go back here. Let's see here. There's a lot sent. Okay. All right. So we know that based upon what was sent me, there hasn't been a pause on this. There has been a pause on this citizenship that they were supposed to have on the 5th of March, ceremony and all that right there. But some of the officials who are representatives for us, they definitely had sent a message, I guess, and inquiring about, why is it this way? Why is the change? Why is it all this stuff that is, changed rapidly with one, short notice, two, increase in the fees, and also requesting for a DNA. So we're gonna go to the video of some of the responses that they had. They had a meeting, and I want to show y'all that how great we are over in Ghana as a unit, and just come together when there's a time of crisis or what have you, because there are different groups that are out there. Some represent, you got groups for the Jamaicans, groups for the the African Americans. You got, representatives for the diaspora. You got groups that are for even those in Europe, who are their representatives and who are, the voice to send to them, to get the word over to the government officials. Hey, we here, we exist. And you know what? We want to be part of this, what we got going on. So let me move on to the video that they had. First of all, before I do that, let me turn this music off. Peace and blessing to each and one of y'all as y'all come in. This is your man. I'm back. I tell you, I'm just, I'm trying to feel my way out, feel my way through a lot of changes that are happening with me, y'all. I'm gonna tell you, life, man. Woo! And as you get older, goodness gracious. But hey, I'm ready to share my new channel. Go to my new channel, y'all. Dear Papa Roo. You ask any questions, if you want to know about whatever life situations, whatever, Dear Papa Roo, R-U. Okay, let me go ahead and share this right here, and we're gonna get into this. This is gonna start out with my dear brother Obenfo Kamban, if you will. He is a brother that left America. He has become a citizen there in Ghana, a representative, a professor. He works at the university over there, and he's done great things. I haven't even met my brother yet, but I will say that hopefully my next travels over there, I can meet my brother. But we'll see. We will see. So let me share my screen here. I want to. Okay, there we go. Now let's get into just watch and just, I'm going to start off with him speaking, just kind of just sharing what has transpired. And then I'm going to move into our dear Professor Smalls, and then also Rabbi Cohan, who is also a powerful brother representative there in Ghana. But let's just watch this video real quick.
Heretofore, a mutually beneficial relationship between continental Ghanaians and the
You're going to have to read the
historically unique
captions.
group. This resolution is issued jointly by the undersigned stakeholders and organizations, including the coalition and collaborating parties who contributed substantively to its drafting and substance, including DOR, that's Decade of Our Repatriation, Repatriate to Ghana, and the BB2 together with all additional endorsers and signatories, quote unquote, the undersigned parties. A, policy framing, targeting effect, and equal treatment. The criteria were presented under the heading, quote unquote, historic African diaspora, signaling that the most severe burdens are directed primarily and not exclusively at historic diasporans, descendants of the enslaved. The undersigned parties seek clarity as to whether comparable burdens, especially DNA testing and similarly onerous evidentiary requirements, are imposed on other long resident non-Black groups who obtain citizenship in Ghana, including but not limited to Chinese, Lebanese, and East Indian communities. Requirements at issue as circulated. The circulated requirements include application form, birth certificate, passport biodata page, proof of legal residence, 2-year residence permit, police clearances from home country and Ghana, evidence of quote unquote strong ties to Ghana, which was undefined, DNA proof to support Ghanaian descent, 25,000 Ghana cedis application fee plus 1,500 administrative Ghana cedis administrative fee. The same notice imposes a single location compressed submission window 2nd through 6th of February 2026 between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. at the World Trade Center Accra, followed by vetting, orientation, and an induction ceremony on 5th March 2026, with fees described as non-refundable. The undersigned parties assert these combined burdens, especially DNA, the 2-year residence permit, undefined quote-unquote strong ties, inappropriate fees, single site compressed window, and non-refundable structure are beyond the pale of reasonability when imposed on the quote-unquote historic African diaspora and function in practice as exclusionary barriers. C, moral anchor, disenfranchising devices, reparations, and quote-unquote self-reparations. On 28 December 2016, that is to say about 10 years ago, in restoring citizenship to 34 members of the historically unique group, President John Dramani Mahama framed the act as moral restoration grounded in the horrors of the quote-unquote slave trade and Ghana's unique historical role, including turn that door of no return into a door of return. That is a quote from him. And also he said, I am giving back to you what rightfully belongs to you. Ghana's proverb confirmed that public moral commitments become binding obligations, which translates to you don't spit on the ground and then go back and lick it up. What you have put out, it stays out. And also, now I'm not coming to the home country, which translates to what you have spoken stands there and waits for you. Conditioning restored belonging on DNA proof functions like a modernized quote-unquote grandfather clause device. Facially neutral rules that in practice impose selective proof burdens to screen out the very group whose rights were at issue. The undersigned parties further note that Ghana's moral ground to champion reparations is weakened when repatriation is obstructed by burdens that defeat return in practice. DOR, that is again Decade of Our Repatriation, framed repatriation as self-reparations, a constructive, dignity-restoring pathway that should be facilitated, not fenced off by gatekeeping. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the undersigned parties authorize designated representatives to seek an urgent meeting with relevant ministries, directors, and the presidency, and to demand the following remedies, not exhaustive. 1, immediate suspension, review, revision, and republication of the circulated criteria with written definitions and decision standards. 2, removal of DNA as a prerequisite and elimination of exclusionary proof burdens inconsistent with restoration and self-reparations. 3, removal of the 2-year residence permit prerequisite and adoption of accessible pathways for HUG, again, historically unique group applicants. 4, a published objective definition of quote-unquote strong ties, and with transparent evidence standards, timelines, and an appeal process. 5, fee reform, including reduction/waiver structures and an end to inappropriate cost barriers. 6, expanded submission options, multiple locations and remote/online submission and reasonable timelines. Effective immediately, the convener/chairman, the secretary that is of the coalition, and this is dated 1st February 2026, with endorsements including the African American Association of Ghana represented here, DOR represented here, Rastafari Council of Ghana also here, Ghana Caribbean Association represented here, African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem represented here, Cashapp represented here, Central Region African Descendants Association of Ghana, CREG, which is also here, Jamaican Affairs, Men's of Gathering, Abibitumi, Repatriate to Ghana, Cashapp, Marcus Mosiah Garvey Foundation, the Divine Nine Ghana, African Diaspora 126 Plus, all of which are represented here. And if there are any other organizations that would like to obtain their signature, the way is clear for you to do so.
All right. So we see already that a lot of representatives that are there, please let me know if you hear me, that are there. I mean, there's a pretty nice show out there, and I'm going to continue with Dr. Smalls. He has some, you know, I love Dr. Smalls. He has done a tremendous job in, you know, sharing with his audience of the African history, traditions, and as well as he gives tours to Ghana as well. But, you know, many groups are here to represent their people. And thankfully that, you know, the voices was heard by the government, according to what I've received from BBC, that Ghana suspends citizenship process for people of African descent. So we're going to see where this will take us, and hopefully the doors will be open back up to the way it was before, an easy transition into becoming a citizen for the country of Ghana. This is how it should be. Really, you know, I understand you got to pay fees because, you know, people are processing and working, but this should not be costing us a lot of money. It should not be requiring us to have a DNA test. It should not be requiring us to go jump through the hoops and have to, you know, show that you have a long connection to Ghana. This is crazy. But if I continue with this video, please bear with me as we begin to move on to the next speaker, Professor Smalls. Let's go to that real quickly, and we're going to start right there.
I wanted to just do a couple of sentences. I've been getting calls from all over the world about this new strategy from Ghana concerning the citizenship of diasporans. And I think it's something we should take serious because I think the government need to walk that back. I think they need to walk that back. This $2,000+ plus your airfare, plus the short time span they're talking about, plus the fee and some of the other things in that proposal. I don't know who came up with that. It makes no sense. I don't think people understand that we as Africans in the diaspora, and we are refugees, if we want, we can step before the United Nations and sue every African nation to whatever degree that they're complicit in us being in this refugee genocidal situation for 500 years. We have not taken that approach. We have come home as family with all forgiveness in our hearts and tried to find peace and unity. And so I think they need to understand, do not declare war on us. That's not righteous. We have done well coming home to Ghana and to other places. And we can sing, I'm the Pied Piper, come follow me to Nigeria. I'm the Pied Piper. Come follow me to Tanzania. I'm the Pied Piper. Come follow me to Kenya. I'm the Pied Piper. Come follow me to Rwanda. But we're not saying that. We've made the focus Ghana as the gateway to Africa for a purpose. Kwame Nkrumah didn't just walk among us and slipped out. He became a part of our understanding, and he took a part of that understanding of the struggle of African peoples, especially in the United States, back to Ghana and factored that in. He took many of us home with him at that time, who some still alive, who was there when he became the president. He was a close comrade to one of our greatest historians, Dr. John Henry Clark. And the year of return is getting a lot of glorification, but most Africans who are settled in Ghana got there before the year of return was even started, because there were other people in other programs and other instances trying to say, come home, starting with President Rollins and other presidents, and as well as President Rollins and other presidents, President Mahama, who made the big step when Bartley was working with them along with others to open up the citizenship. I remember when we first talked about citizenship, it was at the occasion when we re-entombed Nkrumah. And I was asked to go to the radio by Kojo Takata before it was put on the ballot for the very first time, where it was voted down. So we fought together to try and create a fusion of return. And so I hope the government reconsider their position, so that their position on how we become citizen in Ghana is made possible, because we are serious about returning home, and we've proven that in Ghana. We are serious about bringing our resources home. We've proven that in Ghana. I've owned a business there, $1 million business in Ghana for over 21 years. And so we know what we're doing. We're not just playing. We're not trying to play on Ghana. We're really trying to come home. Give us a real opportunity to do that in a real pathway that don't have obstacles in our way. I don't know why the vote went down the way it did. I don't know why that large amount of money was put on top. I hope the American State Department is not a collaborator in pushing us toward this. And I must say that because sometimes we ignore the fact that we are at war with these people. And that war will not end until we win. And we haven't won yet. We've won battles. They've won battles. Now let me come to today.
So that right there was one of his view and his opinion and feelings about exactly what has transpired and how Ghana should change that. We're going to go to our beloved brother, Rabbi Cohan, Pan-Africanist. He's a spokesperson. He's very well respected in Africa and in Ghana, and has done a tremendous work in pushing forward these agendas of African Americans and other diasporas coming into Ghana and trying to make it a home, set up with businesses, and find a place even within the communities to be able to, flourish and build together. And so let's go to Rabbi Cohan, and we're gonna hear his words on the situation.
Limited here with you this afternoon, but I'm speaking in behalf of the Universal Pan-African Diaspora Coalition on this very urgent and pressing matter that has been brought to all of our attention. Needless to say that the coalition, as we are commonly known, has been at the forefront of this citizenship issue since the advent of this Fourth Republic. From the time that we started advocating during the time of former President Rollins, right up into the time through each successive administration, we find that our current president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, first responded to our petition via his former Executive Secretary Kwesi Korte when he granted citizenship to Mama Rita Mali in 2013. And at that time, we felt that that was just symbolic. It had not touched our community. So we advocated continuously with the lead of our ambassador at the Diaspora African Forum, Ambassador Erica Bennett, as well as the Diaspora Coalition, as I said, and the body of our organizations until we finally, in 2016, on my birthday, December 28th, 34 of us were recipients of the first group allocation of a hug into our citizenship era. And I think all of this is important because, as was expressed earlier by Dr. Combone, in quoting the words of His Excellency, we feel that he has been in spirit, certainly an ally to our aspirations as the hug diaspora and restoring to us what was taken away by virtue of the history that makes us unique as a people. And I think that it's important that we clarify the hours that we put in over the last 72 hours around strategizing the correct language, a proper language that would be able to engage government via the Ministry of Interior and members of our community, its leadership and representatives, so that we can look at how these provisions for the requirement of citizenship can be brought more in conformity with the spirit and continuity of what we have been enjoying throughout the years. The issues have been raised around now a price being put on citizenship itself, whereas in the past, it is only required administrative fee as part of the reparative justice that's been afforded to our historically unique group in a spirit of brotherhood and fellowship. And so we see that there's been a departure from that tradition this time to actually put a price on it, as if we've come back to the commodity system of buying back what was rightfully ours and taken away from us illegally. And then we also find that introducing the idea of DNA to confirm the already spiritual DNA that runs through our blood and is confirmed in us as African people, where we don't have to use some mechanism of a man-made machine to confirm what we already know the Almighty has confirmed in our melanated skin and our melanated DNA to say that we are the people from Mother Africa. And so we realize that that is also an offense to our community. And we don't mean to be offensive, but we mean to be responsive to any offense that is perpetrated against our community. And so we also realize that when we've had multiple invitations through multiple administrations, and we just come back off of the eve of a summit, Diaspora Summit, that continues to invite us back home and make provisions for us to make our way back home, that there would be a provision of a 2-year residency requirement before we be considered that you can sit at the family table in the dining room legitimately. So these are issues that our response has requested a immediate meeting to be able to resolve these issues so that the members of our community can comfortably go through a system of requirements that actually makes them feel that we are family and we're returning home. We realize there must be standards and laws in governing a nation, and we are in compliance with that, but it must be done in the proper spirit of fairness and the proper spirit of fellowship and the proper spirit of taking the lead of how we repair ourselves as a family, as we have our own president. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is carrying the flag for reparations before the world for the offense of slavery and colonialism against African people. And so certainly we must set the standard amongst ourselves and how we treat one another in terms of repairing our own condition without waiting for anybody else to put their hand in our business.
All right. So you can go to, if you want to watch any more of that right there, please go to Decade of Our Repatriation, DOOR, Ghana, Ghana Citizenship Emergency Town Hall and Press Conference. That right there, you will be able to get the whole 4 hours video of that whole meeting that took place that was effective, you all, was very effective in apparently causing a pause from the Ghanaian government to at least consider that what they have put out has caused a reaction or a response that was not favorable in the eyes of many of the diaspora. And so we're thankful that there was a pause done, and hopefully they do reconsider and would at least go back to the way things initially were to make it as painless and as painless as possible, so that brothers and sisters can have the opportunity to have a second way of life outside of the country that they may be citizens of, and will be able to explore freedom and liberties in Ghana. So, peace and blessings to you all. And I appreciate each and every one of you all. Again, go to my new channel I have out there, Dear Papa Roo. I plan on giving back to our community, a community here in Damn Erica. Put the D in front of America, capitalize the E, Damn Erica, where many of our people in the community are suffering. Our marriages are down, family is down. The respect, the love that we used to have, it's dwindling. And yet the young adults are left with little to no elders, mentors to be able to question, to ask questions and to be able to get answers where they, are trying to get forward. They are the future. And without us, their future looks bleak, gleam, or, brim, if you will. So my thing is that if we could at least give back, and that's what I want to do, is be a voice for our people and just uplift the dying society, the dying family in this society that we live in, and that hopefully one life can be changed. One person could at least have a better start or have an answer to put them on a right path. So, shout out to each and every one of you all. I am thankful for you all. Please, again, I like to give a shout out to you for just being here. And with that, family, I am out.
Think about it, 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 think about it.